One thing I really enjoy about Lisbon and including Alvalade is the street art. Check out the murals. And then over there you can see more mid-rise apartments. Those would have elevators. Let's do a little bit more exploring here in Alvalade. So you're thinking of moving to Lisbon, Portugal. Today I'm going to walk you around and show you one of my favorite neighborhoods. We'll see different types of properties, different price points, and you can see what life will be like here if you choose this neighborhood. Now, the neighborhood I'm talking about is Alvalade. Welcome to our Living in Lisbon channel. If this is your first time, go ahead and subscribe if you'd like to know everything about moving to and living in Lisbon. If you'd like to be the first to be notified about off-market properties and the latest in the market, then go ahead and tap that bell also. And if this has helped you in any way, I'd really appreciate if you would give me a like. Share it with another friend who is interested in moving to Lisbon or moving within Lisbon, because sometimes it takes a while to find just your right spot. That's another way we come in handy. We can help you make the best choice first, so you don't have to move around. You see what it's really like without actually having to live here first. Let's explore Alvalade. We're going to cross over to the Centro Comercial Alvalade. There's really every kind of commerce, store, service, anything you could possibly need in Alvalade. You would never have to leave if you didn't want to, except maybe to go to the beach. Let's have a walk around the terrace for the commercial center. Nice and cool up here. No one's in a hurry. Some chocolates. So I like to walk here sometimes with my dog, Frankito, Frank, and just sit and have a lemonade, watch the world go by, relax, get our steps in. In Portugal, the lemonade does not have sugar added. So it's very refreshing. At first it's a surprise because you're expecting it to be sweet, but I got used to it really quickly, and it's great. Okay, so we're doing it Portuguese. It's red, but we're walking anyway. Look and walk. Or look and don't walk. Okay, so now it's green and we can walk. This is Avenida de Roma in both directions. Wide sidewalks, lots of stores, restaurants. This is another nice area right down here we're going to, with outdoor seating, which I especially like because I can usually bring Frank. These trees are especially mature, which is so nice. Sometimes I don't see a bird or another dog, but Frank does. You have to be holding on to him pretty tightly all the time. It's a nice outdoor seating area with some personality. There's a lot of good public transportation here in Alvalade. Buses, metro. Of course, you can always get a Bolt, which is very cheap. Very cheap compared to what you might be used to with the rideshare services in other countries. All right, here is another street that has beautiful apartments in great condition, lots of crosswalks. Here the pedestrian is king. You still should always watch. Make sure that the drivers remember that, but life really is easy here. Let's just see if we can sneak a peek in here. No. Okay, so it's closed. We're still exploring Alvalade. Right now we're at the intersection of Avenida Rio de Janeiro and Avenida da Igreja, which I'm pretty sure means church. And isn't this a beautiful little spot? Art, I always love art. More wide streets with trees. I want you to see this church over here. It's really pretty. And then here's this street, the Avenida da Igreja, goes all the way down there to the commercial center of Alvalade, where they had the terrace outside with all the restaurants. I don't know about you, but I love connecting the dots on the map in my mind. You won't see so many properties that are in bad shape here in Alvalade. Everything's kept pretty well. Some might need updating cosmetically a little bit, but they're all pretty solid. Okay, there's a butcher shop. Pretty much all the neighborhoods have butcher shops, some several. There's some construction going on here. Okay, here's another mercado. A mercado of North Alvalade. Always with the outdoor seating. I believe this one is another market, really, with produce, fishmongers, butchers, breads, but I can't take Franklin. So, and Alvalade is very, very well served by all things commercial, but also parks. There's some really nice big parks, and varied too. Some major schools, another bus stop. So we're walking around on a Thursday afternoon, and you can see it's very laid back. Okay, and there's a big fire station. Another example of low-rise traditional apartments. It would be very unusual for one of those to have an elevator. You have to keep that in mind if you have a baby stroller, little push bikes, or if you have impaired mobility. Of course, you could always get a ground floor apartment. Those tend to not be as popular, and often that is reflected in the price. Even in Alvalade, you have to be careful about the exact spot where your apartment is, because the noise level varies a lot. So right back there, there's quite a bit of construction, and by the looks of it, it will be going on for quite a while. So if you were living near that, you would not be in the calm Alvalade I've been selling. Alvalade is in the northeast corner of Lisbon, and it's known for just making sense. It is laid back. The streets are wide. It's easy to park here, easy to drive here. When I say easy to park, I mean not necessarily street parking, but there are loads of garages. Across the way here, Centro Comercial Alvalade is a great place to come and hang out with your family or friends. There are two different types of grocery stores in there. Pingados, which is a standard grocery store, and then a Solero, which is more organic and specialty health foods items. And the whole outside terrace is filled with all kinds of restaurants, from tapas, pizza, Italian, and you can see this is an intersection here, that roundabout. It's one of the major intersections for Alvalade. Now, I'll show you some standard, typical apartment buildings. Okay, so you can see down this way, there are 3 or 4 story buildings. And then of course in this direction, they're more like 8 to 10 stories. In Alvalade, you can find a 2 to 3 bedroom apartment to buy from $450,000 to $750,000. Sometimes if it's recently renovated, has higher end finishes, this sort of thing, the price point might be a little higher, but that's typical, $450,000 to $750,000. So let's talk about the pros and cons for Alvalade. The pros would be, it's generally quiet. There are excellent local shops. Anything you could want or need is here, walkable. You wouldn't have to have a car, although it is one of the easier neighborhoods to have a car. The sidewalks are wide. It's very easy for strollers or folks who have limited mobility. There's a lot of good there are a lot of good restaurants, and there are even some Michelin listed restaurants in Alvalade. And don't forget about the public transportation. It's super easy. Everything about Alvalade is easy. It's not necessarily exciting, but it's easy. So the cons would be it's not exciting. It's boring. But for some people, boring is good. If you want nightlife, a party scene every night, Alvalade is not for you. If you want flash, not for you. But let's see. Another thing is it has a reputation for not having as many English speakers, although I don't necessarily find that to be true. People talk to Frank all the time in English, and It's easy. Whether you speak English, Portuguese, it doesn't matter. It's an easy place to live. So I show you the front of apartment buildings all the time, but I personally find it interesting to see what is behind the buildings. Sometimes there can be a park, shared green space. Sometimes there's just not much of anything, but it can be pretty interesting. Look over there, there's some more. I like the ones that have a little green space, like a park. If you're thinking that Alvalade might be a good fit for you, then go ahead and contact us. Our contact information is in the description. We get calls from people just like you every day. So whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, we'd be happy to help you. We can help you find just the right spot for you and your budget. We often have access to off-market properties, which is very common in Portugal. For some reason, people don't want to list their properties on the real estate sites. You see what it's really like without actually having to live here first.